Hello and welcome to this gemba360 Back to Basics session. My name is Nihal Samra. I'm the General Counsel and Legal Director here at Kaizen Synergy Law Firm, and I'd like to welcome you all to today's session. Today's session obviously focuses on the compliance calendar. As always, we'd like to pay our respects to the elders past and present upon the lands on which we all meet. While this session is being run by webinar and recorded, we do pay our respects to the traditional owners accordingly. So when we jump into the compliance calendar, let's just do that straight and have a look at the Gemba dashboard and run through what it is and how it actually works. Now, we will be coming back to the compliance calendar and revisiting this when we go through the Gemba doc section, but I will show you the policies and other documents and how these relate to it and link to it as well. So the compliance calendar is one of the most used tools, if not the most popular tool on the Gemba dashboard. And let me show you why. Essentially, it is, and it covers all of your quality, risk, and governance requirements within your agency. Now, if to find the compliance calendar, simply click on the compliance calendar in the top left hand corner. And what will come up is this pop-up. Now, you will see that it's all color coded as well too. It'll open up into your profile. Remember, Gemba is set to view your individual profiles based on your position first. Now, considering that you are all administrators, when you jump in, you will have the option to select a number of different views. One of those will be show all agency calendar entries. And this will open up all of the agency calendar entries. So what are the things that are in here? Essentially, you can go through and look at each individual item, but let me just show you how and what most agencies do from month to month. So essentially, all of your governance, risk, and compliance requirements are loaded here. Audit reports can also be loaded here. So when you, in your quality and compliance roles or governance roles, there's often things that you need to do that are due at certain times during the year. For example, that might be policy reviews where you've got a review date or a due date. Now, you've put that into the Gemba docs, and that information will sync across into your calendar. It also means that if you have individual audit reports that you need to do or working with children checks, then you can place those in here as well too. So what most agencies would do is simply, if I go back, most agencies at the start of each month would simply click on the compliance calendar, go to details view, and print this off. They would then take this to their management meeting and run down and look at, well, okay, we've got a couple of contracts in here, pharmacy agreements, etc. We've got a working with children check I can see in here as well too. And they would essentially print that document off and take that to their management meeting and then update it again. Now, what this gives me is a list of all of the compliance activities and governance and quality activities I need to do. Now, when I go in, obviously I see my own calendar entries. Now, if there was something to do that I needed to action, I would get an email with it. And I would go in, I would mark that it's done, that I'm looking at this here. So let's say it was this. It was the working with children check, and the requirement is for Fred Flintstone. Now, this might be due in a few months' time because being a working with children check, what I could do is make that submission, and I'm just going to shortcut that here, and I would then say submitted new application to department. I could include the email if I wanted to, and I'll show you how to do that, and I would mark in today's date, and I could put in either if I was happy to mark it in progress, and I could click on save, and that would then be actioned here as well. Now, if I had a receipt from the department as well, and I wanted to include this as evidence, then quite simply, I can go to the evidence folder. I can mark in evidence that I wanted to view it, and I could actually upload choose a file from my computer and actually upload this as evidence into this document here. So if I click on upload, and let me just pick something forward from here, I'll click update, and I simply mark in upload. And what that'll give me is the date, the time, and the document of what's been done as well too. And I can see that here of what's been listed into this as evidence. Now, I can see a few questions coming through. Here it is here, that's appeared. Okay, so it's giving me the date and the time, who's done it. I'm logged in as Fred. And if I ever wanted to, I can actually open this up and view it here. Now, if I wanted to actually have a look at, let's say, the calendars and go through it, what this gives me is a snapshot overall of how the agency is traveling. It is all color coded, green, oranges, and reds. Greens show that it's on track. Orange means that it's between the review and due date, and red means that it's overdue and it's past the due date. Now, if it also means that I can add a new entry into here, and if I wanted to, I can simply click on add a new entry. And let's say there's a quality audit that I wanted to do. It might be a client file audit. I can actually look at this and go, yes, it's a compliance area. Agency would be your agency name. Compliance document, I'm going to say it is a client file audit that I need to have happen. Requirement, in this case, maybe select 5 client files from the, I'll call it the MHN program, but you can select what you want on here. Oh, there we go. The outcome is review client file. So I can add in my own audit requirements that I have here. Now, in this case, I want to actually do this on the, let's say the 20th, and really I want this done by the end of the week. Now, what that'll do is send out the review date and then send out a reminder for the due date if it's not being done. Actually, I will select the 29th. Now, it means then that if it's not completed a week before the due date, it'll send out another reminder. So in this case, I am just going to select the people that I want to have on here. So in this case, I'm going to select, let's say, and I'm just going to select somebody else as well. So from the drop downs, I can select a couple of people. I'm going to select Katharina as the acting general services manager. So this way you can actually delegate tasks out in your quality and admin and compliance roles that you all have. And in this case, I'm going to say, right, the compliance assistant who reports to me, Dino, in this particular agency will then also see it. So I'm just simply going to select save. Now, what this will do is automatically create an entry. And if I want to go and see show all calendar entries, I can now see that there's 4 items on the 29th that's due. And one of those is actually the client file audit that we have. So this way you can actually add in your own calendar entries that you want activities to be completed. Keep in mind that if it doesn't get action a week before the due date that I'm just highlighting here, it'll automatically send a reminder out to this person to say, hey, this needs to be done. What this person can do once they receive it is then go in, let's say I'm the person marketing progress, and say, this is underway and we are going to look at 7 files instead, okay? So let's say I have this, I'm then saying that this is what's been done. We then can go back into this particular view of what we actually see. I can look at the summary view as well too. I can look at all agency calendar details. What you will find, and I will add this to this discussion of what we're talking about here, is that if you change anything of what goes on, there is always a log of what has actually been changed. So if I say I go back in and I go, look, no, actually, we're only going to do 6 instead of 7, and I click on save this, then what happens is that there are footprints left behind. So here it is here on the date and the time that I actually changed this. So any changes that you actually make will actually appear on the compliance calendar. You can also, if you needed to, filter the compliance calendar. So if I wanted to search for this, and let's say I just wanted to have a look at all the AGM information, for example. So I could just type AGM, And what comes up is a list of all of the AGM activities of what we can see here. And you'll see that you can also have the download button that on the left-hand side that will actually open this into an Excel document for you. So there are a number of options that you have with the compliance calendar. As I mentioned, a lot of people will actually use this on a month-to-month basis to actually run reports for their management group. They will actually use this to view how their agency is tracking by showing show all calendar entries as well too. We have loaded all of by our compliance system, your AGM information, your governance information that needs to be completed as well. You can also, if you're looking at policies, which I will cover off on another stage, is that if there are policies that you've loaded into Gemba Docs, you can also see that those will also give you an automatically policy register by simply typing in the word policy into this search bar as well too. Same thing occurs for things like contracts, and we will come to this in a couple of weeks' time. So again, if you were searching for a contract specific one, you can just type the word contract in as well too. And if those have been loaded into your Gemba Doc system, it will automatically give you a contracts register as well. So you can see it's a very, very powerful tool to what you need to use it for. It covers off all of your governance, risk and compliance audit. It also does cover off all of your specific reporting obligations within and for your agency. Those are the main things that we did want to cover off today. If there are any questions, more than happy to stay online and answer any questions that you might have. If you are watching this recording after today's live session and do have any questions, then by all means, please reach out to us on 1300 360 360 or email us at support@gemba360.com.